Many sporting superstars have failed from England, but the most iconic of them all is Bobby Moore. The centre-back was one of the greatest defenders the game has ever seen. He was the mastermind behind the greatest moments in English sporting history. Although his life was tragically cut short, his legend lives forever. This is the story of the life of Bobby Moore. Bobby Moore was born in Barking, Essex on the 12th of April 1941. He took up football at an early age and joined the academy of West Ham United in 1956. Defender Malcolm Allison took Moore under his wing, and he was impressed with Moore's leadership and ability to read the game, and it wouldn't be long before the youngster got his big break. Malcolm Allison took ill before a game with tuberculosis, and Moore stepped in to make his senior debut in his place. Moore impressed, and West Ham defeated Matt Busby's Manchester United 3-2. The year after making his debut, he, alongside Geoff Hurst, reached the 1959 FA Youth Cup final with West Ham, where they were defeated by Blackburn. Moore became a regular in the team by the 60-61 campaign, and he would be managed by Ron Greenwood, who had previously been impressed by Moore when he was Fulham manager, and also made Moore captain when he was the manager of England under-23s. Greenwood took West Ham to 8th place and soon made Moore captain, saying he did so because Moore was a natural leader. He was well known for his calm leadership, with Geoff Hurst remarking he would never shout at anyone, but rather raise a disapproving eyebrow if a player did something he didn't like. He broke into the England side, being part of the squad as they reached the quarter-finals of the 1952 World Cup. He would go on to captain the side for the first time the next year. Moore won his first silverware 2 years later. Whilst West Ham finished a disappointing 14th place in the league, in the 63-64 season, they would find their way to Wembley for the FA Cup final and defeated Preston North End 3-2 in a dramatic contest, as Bobby Moore became the first ever West Ham captain to lift a major trophy. Moore also received the Football Writers Association Player of the Year, but underwent a scare when he was diagnosed as testicular cancer, but he was successfully treated for it. The next year, Moore returned to Wembley with the Hammers as they won the European Cup Winners' Cup, defeating 1860 Munich in the final. By now, he was established as England captain, and Alf Ramsey was building his England side around the West Ham trio of Moore, Martin Peters and Geoff Hurst. He started 1966 by scoring his first goal for England in the 1-1 draw with Poland at Goodison Park, and he captained West Ham to the League Cup final where they lost to West Brom. Moore had made clear his desire to leave West Ham and allowed his contract to expire at the end of the season. To play at the World Cup, each player needed to be contracted to a side, so when Alf Ramsey found out about the situation, he summoned Ron Greenwood to the England Hotel and told the pair to sort out the contract situation. Moore would be a star as England hosted the World Cup and comfortably found their way out at the group stage before they defeated Argentina in the quarter-finals in the tense affair. Moore rose to the challenge against Eusebio in the semi-finals as they defeated Portugal 2-1. There were whispers of the England coaching team planning to drop Moore for the final in favour of the more tough Norman Hunter, and Moore also had a scare with tonsillitis, but Ramsey decided to stick with his captain at the back, and be one of the best decisions he ever made. West Germany took an early lead at Wembley, but Moore, calm and intelligent as ever, played a strong part in pulling England's socks back up. In the 18th minute, Moore was fouled near the halfway line. He quickly took the resulting free kick, catching the Germans off guard as he swung the ball long into the box, and there to meet it was Geoff Hurst, who headed it in for an equaliser. Martin Peters continued the West Ham theme to put England ahead, but West Germany equalised in the dying moments to send the game to extra time. With West Germany now exhausted, England were not put down by the late heartbreak. A shot from Geoff Hurst bounced down from the crossbar and trickled over the line to put England in front, and in the dying seconds of the game, Moore had the ball on the edge of the England penalty area. His teammates screamed at him to kick the ball away, but he spotted Hurst free in attack and played the ball 40 yards to the forward. Hurst went through on goal and smashed it in for a hat-trick, and England had won the World Cup. As Moore climbed the steps, he wiped his hands clean on the velvet cloth by the Wembley steps to ensure he did not have dirty hands as he greeted the Queen, and he held the gleaming Jules Rimet trophy into the air. The boy from Essex had put on a masterclass in the greatest moment in English sporting history. He became an icon and held on to his place in the team. England would lose in the semi-finals of the 1968 European Championships, but he would be there at the next World Cup, although not without controversy. In preparation for the World Cup, England travelled to Bogota to face Colombia in a friendly. Whilst there, Moore accompanied Bobby Charlton into a jeweller's, where Charlton was looking to buy a gift for his wife. After leaving the shop, the assistant, Clara Padilla, exited and accused Moore of stealing a bracelet from a display case. The police were called, with Charlton and Moore questioned. The game against Colombia went ahead, with England winning 4-0, and it appeared the matter was closed. However, as England prepared to fly to Mexico, they returned to the same hotel they had been in when the alleged theft took place. And whilst there, Moore was arrested by 2 Colombian police officers, as a new witness came forward saying he had seen the theft. South Ramsey realised getting Moore out of jail would be a lengthy process. The squad headed to Mexico without Moore. Moore was kept under house arrest at the home of Alfonso Sr., the president of the Colombian Football Federation, and he was followed by armed police guards. Moore underwent intense questioning, whilst Clara Padilla kept changing her story. Prime Minister Harold Wilson got involved and requested the British Embassy in Bogota lobbied the Colombian government for Moore's release. Eventually, it was decided that there was insufficient evidence to prosecute Moore, and he was released. The fallout after scandal is often seen as the reason that Bobby Moore was never knighted. He met up with England in Mexico, with the players welcoming him with a guard of honour. The shop closed soon after, with Padilla fleeing to the United States, with many feeling she made up the story to get compensation from the England camp. Moore was unfazed and was ready to be England's star again. He captained them as they defeated Romania 1-0 in their opening game, and next up, he played part in one of the greatest matches of all time. England were up against Brazil, with Pelé missing much of the 1962 World Cup for injury, and he had a poor performance in England 4 years before, so he felt he had a point to prove. It was an incredible encounter, tight and tense. In the first half, Pelé headed the ball towards goal, which drew an incredible save from Gordon Banks. Afterwards, Moore said to Banks, "You're getting old, Gordon. You used to catch those." In the second half, Moore would have one of his defining moments. Jairzinho had the ball against Moore on the wing and tried to take him on. Moore patiently jockeyed as Jairzinho crept into the box. As he did so, Moore stuck out a leg and got the ball, calmly dribbling away with it. Jairzinho would score the winner for Brazil, and they went on to win the whole tournament. Nonetheless, Moore received high plaudits for his performance, with Pelé embracing him at the end of the game as they swapped shirts. England would reach the quarter-finals, but blew a 2-0 lead against West Germany to end their hopes of retaining the World Cup. Bobby Moore received a testimonial at West Ham later that year, but the year after, he was in trouble for going out drinking with his teammates the night before a game. He would later lose his place in the England team, and they failed to qualify for the World Cup after a draw with Poland. He had the last of his 108 caps in 1973, and the next year, his time at West Ham came to an end, and he was transferred to Fulham after 15 years of service at Upton Park. His relationship with Ron Greenwood had become strained, and he had suffered a loss of form. In his first campaign at Fulham, they defeated West Ham in the League Cup, and then amazingly faced them at Wembley in the FA Cup final. West Ham, though, would win 2-0, and it was the final time that Moore played at Wembley. After leaving Fulham, he spent time playing in America, and also had spells in Canada, Denmark, and Hong Kong, before finally hanging up his boots in 1983. He had a role in the football war film Escape to Victory in 1981, and remained in the game as a manager. He started off at Oxford City, with Harry Redknapp as his assistant. He returned to Hong Kong after to manage the side Eastern, and then went back home to Essex to manage Southend in 1984. He helped bring stability to the club in his 2 years in charge, before going upstairs to a board of directors. Moore would struggle off-pitch with divorce and failed business ventures, but remained involved in football as a pundit. He was part of the TV coverage for Italia 90. Jonathan Pearce recalled that he was walking in a square in Turin with Moore and saw a large fight break out in the middle. Pearce was scared, but Moore calmly walked through the crowd, like Moses parting the waves, as people stopped fighting to say hello to him. Moore's battle with cancer, though, would return in the 90s, with him having an operation for colon cancer. 2 years later, he announced publicly for the last time his illness, which at this point had spread to his liver. He was photographed commentating on England vs San Marino that year, with people remarking how he looked ill. Only 1 week later, he passed away from cancer at the age of 51. The footballing world fell into shock, with Upton Park adorned with floral tributes and scarves. Jackie Charlton said after the passing that Moore was only the second person he cried over, the first being Billy Bremner, and he described Moore as a lovely man. West Ham retired the number 6 for their next game, with Martin Peters and Jeff Hurst placing a floral replica of Moore's West Ham shirt on the pitch. The Hammers would win 3-1 to honour him. West Ham would permanently retire Moore's number 6 in 2006. Bobby Moore remains a man beloved across the footballing world, with so many quotes about the great person he was. He remains the only person to lead an English senior side to a footballing World Cup title. When the new Wembley was opened in 2007, a giant statue of Moore was erected at the top of Wembley Way. His legend will be passed on through the generations. An incredible leader whose intelligence and calm demeanour led West Ham and England to heights they had never seen before. Of all the footballers that have ever come out of England, the great Bobby Moore remains the most important of them all. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video on the AFC Finners channel. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please have a look at the channel down below and check out the hundreds of videos available. If you'd like to support the channel on Patreon, you can do so in the link below for as little as £1 a month. Please let me know what you thought of this video and what topic you'd like me to cover next. See you next time.